Hey guys, Doug from Motion here today with a super exciting announcement that Aeromotive has finally released their true variable speed brushless pump line. Now these ones right here are 5 gallon a minute, and this is a pump that since this brushless pump came out to the market, we've been just hounding Aeromotive. We're like, we really want to see a variable speed pump. Now, why that's significant is because a lot of other pumps that aren't brushless in the market, you can just PWM or pulse width modulate, and that allows you to change the speed of the pump to slow it down or speed it up, depending on what you're doing with it. Well, a brushless pump has actually a built-in controller, so you can't just physically PWM voltage coming into it. So Aeromotive has spent the last year or year and a half testing, refining, and building this true variable speed controller, which allows for a really cool control mechanism, which is just a single 0 to 5 volts signal wire. So anybody that has an EFI system, aftermarket EFI system, it gives you a wide range of ability of how you want to control it. You can do it with throttle, you can do it with a variety of outputs based off of boost and everything in between. So basically, when you're using this thing for street duty, say on drag week or something, you can run this pump all the way down to 30% duty cycle. So you take 5 gallons a minute of fuel moving around and cut it down to about 1.5 gallons of fuel. Now the brushless pump, if you aren't familiar, doesn't actually create heat because the brushless, just by nature, doesn't create heat like a brush style motor does. But the ambient temperature of the ground, the transmission, your exhaust, and everything in between will heat up the fuel, and the more times you run that fuel through that line past the hot ground and everything, it's going to heat the fuel up. So this is super cool. It slows the fuel way down as far as cycle goes, and it allows you to really just kind of control everything to the smallest degree. This pump's compatible with 12 and 16 volts systems, so it gives you a wide range on that. If you already have one of these, in the near future you'll be able to upgrade just the controller hat, because physically from here down the pump is exactly the same. There's just a different speed controller here on the top. Now we're super excited because Aeromotive allowed us to be the first ones to have these. So we have 10 or so in stock right now. The pump retails for $1,410, so we can ship this out today, free shipping. And if you have any questions or want us to build a complete fuel system, we definitely can do that. We specialize in taking what you have, what you need, and what components you're working with, and building a fuel system that can just be pulled out of packages, assembled, and you don't have to order fittings and hoses and components 4 or 5 times. Now, as far as a actual regulator to go with this, we suggest the Extreme Series 13134 Aeromotive regulator. I'll put a link below for that as well. And then also you'll want to make sure your fuel filters are up to snuff. Aeromotive makes a huge 12-12 O-ring style fuel filter. On this, if you're running ethanol or methanol, you'll want to use their 10 micron micro glass element. You don't want to use a paper element with this style pump, and with ethanol and methanol it'll clog up and turn inside out and it'll be really bad. And then also a 100 micron pre-filter. Now this pump has a 12 O-ring in and a 10 O-ring out. We suggest a 12 feed and a 10 to the engine itself. And then also with this pump, I'd like to see everybody running a 10 return at minimum. You can never have too big of a return line, but a 10 at the very minimum is going to be what you want to maximize your combo. So the hot craze today is how much power can I make on E85 and boosted, because E85 seems to be a really popular fuel. E85 and boosted, we've seen as much as 1,550 rear wheel horsepower with this pump. We see tons of other examples of this in that same power range. So a very capable pump. If you're below that, we suggest this pump for anybody that's making over 1,000 to the wheels on ethanol, because it's going to really give you the room to grow in that range. And there's not a whole lot of streetable style fuel pumps that are available between 1,000 and 1,500, so why not go big? You can turn it down, of course, and just not use all of it. Now, another reason why this pump is awesome is because it's all contained into one single fuel pump. And why that's good is because with multiple fuel pumps, whether in tank or out of tank, you have a huge room for error in the sense that if one of those pumps stops working, which is very common due to misdesign in fuel line size, power, everything else in between, and then just general life duty cycle of the pump. Having one pump is going to mean that things either work or they don't. If you have 2, 3, 4 pumps working and one of them dies, you can start making a pretty good amount of horsepower, and you really don't know that that last pump died until you're really needing the fuel there, and then all of a sudden your engine leans out and you burn it up. We get those calls multiple times a month, so I'm always a big fan of preaching one fuel pump. Put everything into one fuel pump, because if it dies, you're going to know long before it burns up an engine. If you have 4 fuel pumps, that last 25% of fuel when you finally turn it up isn't going to be there, and things get real ugly real fast. So that's why this is a great thing. If you have multiple fuel pumps and you have them failing, this is a great option to switch to. If you're building a new combo, always keep it in one anytime you can. Super thankful for Aeromotive for bringing this awesome piece of technology to market. So anyways, if you're looking for one of the most capable street duty fuel pumps on the market that also has a control wire, the new brushless 5 gallon a minute Aeromotive is definitely one to look at. So anyways, thank you for tuning in today. Stay tuned, there's more to come.